Modesta. Hi, welcome to Purpose and License. This is Modesta, Mahiga. And today I wanted to have a bit of heart to heart with you. It's been a while since I shared about why I'm doing what I'm doing, how long I've been at it, and why it's so important for me to raise giants, because that's what I believe I'm doing. So I was watching Cars. If you guys have watched Cars, the cartoon, the animation, I love watching cartoons. So we're watching Cars Part 3 the other day. And there's this character that's come into the show. Her name is Cruz. She's a female car. And Cruz was asking Lightning McQueen, if you guys know anything about car, Lightning McQueen is the car number 95. He is like the greatest of all time. And so part 1, part 2, part 3, they're all, they're all about Lightning McQueen and his challenges and his ultimate wins. I want to share this in different platforms. Anyway, I'll get to that later. Can you share this in a group that you're in so that I can just continue with the conversation and not worry about where it's going? Back to Cars, part 3. So Cruz, this female car, comes in, and she comes in as a coach. Lightning McQueen starts off his in this race, and he just realizes that all the cars racing this time a new generation. Everybody else from his time are out of the game. Actually, right in the middle of the match, somebody just gave up racing because they just realized they're too old. Anyway, fast forward into the session. Lightning McQueen is in a place where his intention, he didn't win that game, the game that opened up the movie, and he realizes that, you know what, maybe it's time to throw in the towel. Maybe I'm done for, just, hi there, people are saying hello, hey, I see you. I actually see everybody coming in. I just know that if I say all my hellos right now, I get sidetracked, so I'll come back to this later. So then, so he loses, and he's sitting there in depression for months, just in this garage all closed off, and, feeling sorry for himself. And one of his friends comes in and, tells him to get out of it and get back into the game. And he decides to. So he goes back in his training, and somebody actually said they bet on him. They're going to train him. They're going to own his brand and get him back in the game. So while he's going through this training, he finds it unconventional. This car, the female car I was talking about, Cruz, happens to be his trainer. And so she's telling him all these high-tech things, and in, and out, and like, stretch those ancient joints. He's like, I'm not ancient. I'm not out of the game. I still have it. I'm still with it. Anyway, they go off to some place, some unconventional track he wanted to try out to train, because he really wanted to train in real terrain. And it didn't go as planned. And he was saying, you know what, I am sitting here stuck with some, young little trainer who's got all these methods, but doesn't even know what it's like in the real world. All she knows about is this simulation and this inside, training area. And she's not a racer. She's never even raced a day in her life. Like, who is she to tell me, how to do it out there? And Lightning McQueen, he feels the pressure of performing this time around because he is an old model car, and every car right now on the racetrack is new. Every car is like new generation, high tech, everything. He is not made up to compete with them. There is nothing on Lightning McQueen. He had his time, he had his heyday, but for him to continue to perform right now, he has to go to heights that the other cars don't have to. He has to train like the other cars don't have to. He really has to find everything he can in himself, possibly new techniques, new terrain, anything to help him out, because his makeup in this new game against these new opponents, Lightning McQueen will not see the time of day out there. They will eat him for lunch. And so he feels the pressure of really having to get it together. And he's telling Cruz, this young car, this trainer with all her moves and techniques, and his apparent coach, that, listen, I can't be taking advice from you. You do not know the cost of this match for me, because actually his new owner told him that if you lose this game, then all you're doing is, we're changing your personal brand. You're going to be selling, we're going to brand items, different items. You'll just be selling and promoting items that have your name, because then people will love, you from your heyday, and they will buy things because they carry the brand you had back in the day. But even his new owner doesn't believe that Lightning McQueen has what it takes. And so he knows that I need to go all out with this training. I need to go all out with this effort. It is my last chance to prove myself. If I lose, I'm just going to be some marketing gimmick. But if I win, then I am back in, even if I'm an old model car. So he's saying, I can't be doing this with you. I need a real trainer. I need to go to real terrain. I need to find real people who understand what it means, what, the odds that I'm up against. And she gets smashed. She's like, I don't want to get out of this car. They were in a trailer. So it's like, stop, driving. They're all cars stopping each other. And so she gets out. She goes, ask me. She's like this cruise young female car. Says, ask me if I always wanted to be a trader. Ask me if I got up early in the morning, before everybody else, just so that I could be a trader. Ask me, if I went into the speeds and I went into all this training, just so that I can come out and be a trainer. And Lightning's looking at her like, oh, okay, she's freaking out. It's like, no, I didn't. I wanted to be a racer. My entire life, I wanted to be a racer. But she says there's this one chance she got to race. She goes out into the field, and everybody she sees, these cars are bigger, these cars are tougher, these cars have been in the game longer. And she says she freaked out. She got this one chance to prove herself. From childhood, she had been training, she had been preparing herself. She believed that she was made to race, but this one chance she got, she chickened out, she got scared. And at this juncture, she asks, during this rage of emotion, she asks Lightning, how did you know the first time you raced? How did you know that you would not lose? And Lightning answers her like, I never thought about it. He never thought about losing. Like, losing wasn't an option. So he went in the mindset that I belong here. I am meant to race. I am going to win. He didn't for once look at the other cars and the other racers and think, oh my goodness, maybe, I'm in little league and I'm kind of, I'm playing with the big boys now, so to speak. And so I was just thinking about that, watching that. And then anyway, the movie continues, and later Lightning, gets trained and everything. But even in training, he realizes he doesn't fully get what it takes, but he's committed to training. And he's committed to racing because he does not want to end up being some salesman or sales car. And as he starts racing, he goes a couple of laps, and then he hears Cruz, the female car, who has been training her, they actually ended up, training together and everything. And so they're buddies now. And so he hears her, speaking to him through the, whatchamacallit, like the earphones, whatever, instructing him. And the owner of the car said, get out of here. I've got this. I'm speaking to Lightning McQueen. You're distracting. You're just a trainer. You're a nobody. Get out of here. Stop getting in the way. And Cruz walks away, and Lightning gets all these flashes of times when Cruz, like when they were training, Cruz was going really fast. Cruz won. She was running circles around Lightning McQueen. She was phenomenal. And he just thought about this. Like, wait a second. She settled for training. Cruz is a racer car. Cruz is not a trainer car. But she didn't believe in herself. She was scared when she started out. And in life, all that people saw her, she stayed in the field she was interested in, but didn't even look at realizing her potential, really going all out for what it is that she's interested in doing, because she thought she was less. And everybody else saw her as she saw herself. And so she settled for, it wasn't the worst thing, it's not like she completely got out of the field. She stayed in the arena, in the field, we could say in the profession that she wanted to be. And somebody saying they're watching this with their son. Yeah, you watch it with the son, nice. Stayed in the profession, but she settled to be a trainer when Cruz was really meant to be a racer. And so as Lightning is going these rounds at this race that is supposed to determine his career, that if he wins it, then he stays in the game. But if he loses, then he has to be out. He has to just end up being a salesperson, because everybody says, Lightning McQueen, you're out of your sell-by date. And he's making his rounds, and he's hearing his new boss speak to Cruz, saying, you're just a trainer. Get out of the way. I am speaking to Lightning McQueen. I am telling him what to do. Lightning decides, wait a second, this girl, this car, Cruz is the future. So he gets out at the pit stop, And they're there. They want to change his tires and everything, get him back in the game. He goes, no, get her on. Get Cruz back here. That, what are you talking about? You want her to train you? You want her to speak to you? No, I want Cruz to race. Cruz is not a trainer. Cruz is a racer. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Of course she's a trainer. She's been training everybody. You know, she's been your trainer. It's like, no, she's not. Trust me, I know talent when I see it. Trust me, I know greatness when I see it. And so they're calling her back. She was completely leaving the grounds. Forget about just leaving the space where her boss told her to leave. She was leaving the grounds. She was leaving this career and this future entirely. And she came back. They put the tires on her. They put everything on her because they belonged to the same team. They were allowed to race in the same race. So Lightning comes out. And she goes in and she's like, oh my goodness, okay, no, because she does not believe in herself at all. You know, she tried the first time ever in her life and got chickened out, so she wasn't going to race. Thereafter, she's been known as a trainer. That's all she is. That's all she's pursued. She's gotten really good at it. Apparently, you know, she's the best in the industry. So she's settled. She's the best there is in the industry. So she continued. So she's getting into this thing now. She has to race now. And Cruz is, you know, she's kind of scared, so she's going slowly, and all these cars are running laps around her, and they're going past her. And Lightning is telling the person on the monitor, tell her this, and he was using some of the gimmicks, some of, you know, their lingo and some of the language she usually uses when she's training people. And he's like, what, you tell me to tell her what? She's light as a cloud? What? And it comes a point, the guy on the monitor is like, look, I'm not telling her, you tell her. So he puts the headset on Lightning McQueen, and Lightning McQueen starts speaking to her, telling her what to do, and she's running and running. She's getting closer and closer to, you know, to the cars that were at the top. And the people who are instructing these cars are like, she's coming out. It's like, she's just a trainer coming out. She's got nothing happening. She is coming stronger, and she went from 14th to 10th. Like, she's in the top 10 now. They're telling the other cars, take it seriously. You thought she was just a trainer. She's exhibiting all trace of a racer here. Take it seriously. She says going top 5. She's in the top 5. So one of the cars that knows her very well as a trainer, that knows all her insecurities, that knows all her issues, is like, you know what? I would have taken you seriously, but you know, I know you, you know that I know you for who you really are. And I know you are dressed up in the costume of a racer car, but just because you're in the costume doesn't mean that you have what it takes. So, you know, I don't know what you're doing out here in the field, but you know, yeah, you don't belong here. And Lightning is speaking to her in the headset. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. I know. It's getting to my head. Cruz says it's getting to my head. I'm not going to be listening to this. And he's saying, no, you don't get it, because she actually slowed down when that other car started insulting her and coming up and questioning her validity, questioning what she's doing in a field like this, questioning why on earth a trainer would think they're a racer all of a sudden. Like, you stop training people and then now you're getting in the game. Stick to what you know. And Lightning said, no. I'm not telling you because it's getting in your head. You got in his head. Because if he truly felt you were not competition, if he truly felt that you were nothing to worry about, why did he invest so much of his time while he's racing, lose focus to talk you down? It means you are a threat. It means you are a racer. It means you can win this thing. And Cruz takes off like nothing. I'm doing this. Okay, she didn't watch. She roomed off like nothing. And I am crying. Yeah, guys, I cry almost over anything. And I'm crying. Oh my goodness. Oh. You know, and I got so many things out of this movie, this animation. Cruz had all the potential. I mean, I'm so emotional sharing this with you guys right now. She had all the potential, you know, of a giant racer who could take on the entire world. But the one chance that she had, she blew it because she got scared. She looked at everybody else. They seemed poised. They seemed experienced. You know, they seemed fearless. And who was she? And at that time, she had no one to tell her different, except the voice in her head. And the voice in her head was saying, you know, kid, you're playing in the big league, so get out of the way. Then thereafter, because she settled to just do what was safe, she was still in racing because she still loved it. And actually, she got into racing because of Lightning McQueen. So imagine, she gets to meet her idol, her role model. And she stayed, you know, she was a trainer and she was fine with that. And everybody knew her as a trainer. And everybody thought she was the best trainer in the game on earth. But all she was a trainer to them. And she settled with being the best trainer instead of being, you know, like a giant racer. And then now Lightning McQueen, here he is also, trying to prove to himself, I still have it. I'm still good. I was fearless before, I can be fearless now. Just because, it's a new field, new generation of cars, new ways of doing things, doesn't mean that I'm irrelevant. Lightning got to a point in his life. He got to a point where he looked at himself and he says, I know I can be good. And he probably could have actually, if he really gave his all and he had learned new tactics, new strategies, he could have won that. But he just thought, wait a second. I have enough wins. I mean, there's a time Cruz was like, you've got like 1 billion trophies, don't you? I think Lightning just thought, I have enough wins under my belt. I'm good. I've done well enough. But this car, this person here, my trainer, my coach, I could mentor her. She's not just a trainer. She's a really good trainer, the world's best, but she's a racer. I can see the potential she has. And he humbled himself to get out of the game so that he could raise somebody. He could pour himself in someone else, and they will go standing on the shoulder of a giant and become even greater and do even more amazing things than he would, giving his all and straining himself until he got out of the game and he made way for Cruz. And Cruz went out there and she took it like she was born to. Oh, this thing was so emotional for me. So why did I tell this entire story? The reason why I told this entire story is, listen, I said this before and I'll say this again. Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world. This is the century for Africa. I have known it for over a decade. I have been saying it for just as long. And my job is to groom the men and women, the leaders who are going to transform Africa. In your spheres of influence, in your professions, in your areas, I am here to raise the giants that will move mountains. People will not see Africa coming. People will not believe the things we've done. We've been in the game to some respect. We've achieved a bit here, a bit there, but there's going to be a wave of Africans excelling all over the world. We are going to transform our continent, and we're going to transform the world and business and economies like never seen on the earth. I believe this. I know this. I don't need to go into details on this, but this is why I exist. I remember one of my colleagues says, Modesta, you know what? You're going to be like, yeah, you're raising all these people and you're empowering all these people, and you're just not going to stand. I mean, you give too much. Who's giving to you? What are you getting? I mean, even financially, they're like, don't you want to make something out of what you're doing? I know that the investment in other people will yield greater returns than if I stood as one person, Modesta, Mahiga, and try to make a difference on this continent. I have my place. I have my race. And then I have this role I cannot deny. Yesterday, I was praying and I was crying to the Lord. I said, give me more, because I know I am brought giants and I mentor giants. That is my calling. And I said, give me more sons and daughters, God. I was praying and crying over this. Give me more. Show me who is next. And actually, he showed me somebody I've always been working with, walking with, and just it came very clearly yesterday. This one is next. Like, make sure he stands and make sure that he gets to transform. He is called to transform an entire nation. And I have been around him and I've been helping him here and there, but I didn't really see it like I saw it yesterday. So this is why I have the master plan class, and this is why I do executive coaching. On top of everything else I do, this is why I do what I do. I know what Africa is going to become, what Africa is. Forget about going to, what Africa is. And I know what my mandate is. And so I meet you giants, you men and women who are doing what you're doing in your field. And there are times I meet people, somebody in our master plan class. Okay, so I'm talking a lot about, there was cohort 1, cohort 2 is currently running, cohort 3 starts on the 9th of February. So in cohort 2, somebody said, do you know of an example of somebody who completely flopped, didn't do well at all, everything went wrong. They set goals, they didn't meet them, they had strategies, they had a vision and things and how they were able to bounce back. And I said, you know what? Flopping is not failure, and failure is not final. Just the fact that she asked that made me realize that I take faith and fearlessness for granted sometimes. I don't know how I've been wired the way I'm wired, but like Lightning McQueen, I do not expect to lose. I do not expect to be disqualified. I do not expect to not matter. I have lived believing that I am here for a purpose, believing that my contribution matters, believing that one person can change the world. And so everything I engage in to win. Everything I engage in, I engage in to make a difference, believing I make a difference. But there's some people who don't. And so somebody asked me during the class on Monday, they asked me, so do you know of an example of somebody completely flopped and failed and things didn't happen, how they bounced back? I'm like, I don't have to go far. I have flopped and failed. But to me, it's not final. I get back up. I just keep getting back up. Sometimes I fall so many times and I get back up. You don't even know that I fall. Few people know my entire story and all, the ups and downs I've had. And so I realized that there are giants out there. There are giants on this continent. Either they feel that they have something in them, but either themselves or the voices of others have told them differently, or maybe life has happened and you failed a couple of times. Or somebody actually said, I failed a couple of times and it's painful. And I'm not sure if I want to go at it again. And I've met several people who say, especially when they fail in business, like, I do not want to take that fall again, because it comes with everything. It takes you down. And so I have felt since Monday stronger than ever before that we need to identify and equip and motivate and stand by and root for every African man and woman who dares to believe that more can come out of themselves and more can come out of this continent. That not just that they can stand and do for them and theirs, but they can actually be the solution for this continent in this century. This is why I do what I do. This is why I offer an over $7,000 course for $200. Really? Do you know, if I were just to go buy, what I make from this, I wouldn't even be able to pay rent. But I do it because I want those who feel that they have something in them, those who want to, to see their potential realized, those that want to be a solution, and not just for me and mine. I don't work with people who just want to do good for them and theirs, but people who truly want to make a difference. I stand with them. And so finance is an issue, so I put it at discounted, 80% discount. And that's not even the full, the full value of what I offer. And I have those who I'm coaching separately. So I wanted to get back to this. Why do I do what I do? And why am I inviting you to the master plan class? Blah, blah, blah. It's because I know Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world. And I have been asked. And I know there could be many of us, but I'm just talking about my mandate from God, is to groom the men and women, purpose-driven servant leaders that want to drive market results with excellence, the men and women who get into strategic positions of leadership and will usher us into a new dawn. People who are selfless, but people who are also competent. People who have character. People who are not moved by what they see, but what they know. And no matter what is happening, they just say, listen, somebody should do something about this. Well, I am somebody and I'm here and I'm doing something. I do not want my children, my children's children, I don't want my country, I don't want my continent to ever say, where were you when this is happening? I'd like to say, hey, look, this is where I was. This is what I could do where I was, where I am with what, with what I have. I will come back to you and tell you what I did when Africa was in its, in its birthing pangs. I will tell my God what I did when I lived, took in oxygen on this planet. By the way, guys, I plan to live to be 120 years old. I know where this continent is going. And I know that we cannot be developed from outside. It has to be African men and women who get into every sphere of life, who get into every profession, and we excel. We will drive not just this continent, but this world's economic renaissance in this century. This is why I do what I do. And this is why I price it what I price it. This is how I can go for an entire year of coaching for free, I believe. And like Lightning McQueen to Cruise, I know, maybe not everybody I get to meet, but they are men and women. I have, by God's grace, mentored giants. And they're only just starting out. Some 5, 10, 10 years into what they're doing. But there's going to be a wave of people, and some of you are watching me right now, that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no man can conceive what you're going to do and what will come out of Africa because of you. And so stand. Believe in yourself. Believe in this continent. Surround yourself with people that will believe and that will stoke what you have. It is good to be a person of good character, but good character alone doesn't yield results. And it is good to be a person of competence, but competence without good character can only go so far. But when you have character and competence and vision and are ready to dig down your heels in resilience and say, I am not moving. I'm not moved by what I see, but I will stand until that which is supposed to come out of Africa will come out of Africa. I will spend my last breath being the best that I can be and standing in the gap for others to be as well until we see an economic transformation like has never been witnessed in history. Make up your mind. Choose to invest in yourself. Demand your own dividends. Believe that flopping is not failure and failure is not final. Keep getting back up. That is how you are formed. That is how giants are raised. Giants that move mountains. Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world. And I'm here to groom the men and women that will get into strategic positions of leadership, purpose-driven servant leaders that will drive market results with excellence to get it there. Thank you for spending time to watch this. And I bet now you're all going to go watch Cars Part 3. Oh, it's worth it. It's so worth it. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day, evening for those who are on the continent, and afternoon for those who are in the US area. Much love. Oh, so I'm just gonna mention who I'm seeing. I'm seeing Winnie Boutique. I'm seeing Miss Stella, Diddy for Kids, Faith, John Care. Hey, John, thank you so much for your support. Jessica, Andrew, Minu, I love you. I love how you gave me a chance at FEMA. God bless you forever. Gertrude, Shu, love you forever. Michael, Mariam, David, Morris, Dale, Jackie, Alan, Benedict, Isabel, George, Michael. Oh, wow, you guys are amazing. Fida, Grace, Saeed Davis, Ezekiel, Maria, Margaret, Slayman, Ernest, Mary, Angie, Pastor Angie, I love you forever. Carlson, Anna, wow. Wow. Hashim, thank you. Zoab, Faris, thank you. Naema, Spatra, Shoes, wow. Rahma, Kishit, I love you guys. Thank you so much for standing. Thank you so much for believing. Oh, no, I saw your comment as well. Imelda, I believe in you. You know we're doing this, right? You know this continent is going where it's going because you're standing in the gap. I am Africa 255. That's right. Tulisindo. Yes. Domi. Eska. Who's this? Ajay. I love you guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Have an amazing evening. The link, purposeandexcellence.africa. You can go to purposeandexcellence.africa/services to register for the master plan class. It's $200 until tomorrow, 31st of January. Then it goes to $1,000. And even that is not anywhere close to its value of over $7,000. So if you're going to register for the master plan class, I suggest that you do it between today and tomorrow when it's $200 for 8 weeks. My husband, by the way, was saying, why are you making this thing 8 weeks? Make it less. You know why? Because it has to start with a person choosing, owning their own transformation. You have to start with mindset. You cannot force techniques on people. You cannot force a skill, a training on people. You need to allow people to think through who they are, where they come from, what they come with, and what it is that they are willing to do in the context of their day-to-day lives to get the future they want for themselves. So master plan class, it isn't a training. It is a journey. And even if you're doing it in community, it is at the end of the day, your journey of looking at your life, looking at your patterns, looking at what you want, and choosing what you are ready to do and what you're ready to change for you to see the life that you want to see for yourself and those around you. So this is why it's 8 weeks. With the master plan class, you get 8 weeks of group coaching. You have 2 sessions of one-on-one coaching with me. You have email exchanges with me on your documents and anything that you want to present publicly. You get the Start Now with a Purpose and a Master Plan book, which is going to be your workbook throughout the sessions. You get self-assessments. Every material that I share, the recordings of the session, you can continue coming back to them, the PowerPoints, everything that you need to start this year, this journey well, and to deliver excellence in your sphere of influence in the marketplace. Welcome, one and all. And again, if you want group, if you want one-on-one coaching, I do one-on-one coaching. I currently have 3 people that are doing 6 to 12 months with me. You're most welcome to subscribe to that as well. If you're thinking, okay, I'm an executive and my issues are really particular and I really want to go intense with you, I do executive coaching. We have weekly sessions, limitless email. We have SOS emergency. Modesta, I need to speak to you right now. Modesta, prepare me for something. I'm going to present something. It's really a wonderful journey for you to realize all that you are as an African leader. Most welcome. And look out for the Entrepreneur's Checklist. Startup questions that save time, money, and unnecessary pain. Guys, I've got the writing bug. I'm writing all over the place. So I'm releasing that book on the 1st of February. Watch out for that in Amazon. Much love. Take care. Bye. I gotta go. Gotta go now. How do I switch this off?